I think just looking at the subscription numbers, it would be interesting to see if you're actually going to see a listing pop or not. Now, will there be a pop in the heavyweight RIL is the other question. Why are we saying that? The company has officially stopped importing Russian oil into its special economic zone refinery well ahead of the mandated deadline. What does this mean for operations, margins and global exports? Soumya Sarkar joining in for more this morning. Good morning, Soumya.
Reliance Industries has come out with this big announcement where they are saying that they have stopped importing Russian crude from November 20th, and this is the Russian crude that will be going into the export-oriented unit, that is the SEZ unit, SEZ refinery. And they're also saying that from the 1st of December, all products which will get exported from the SEZ refinery will be obtained from non-Russian crude. Now, what the company has done here is they have completed this transition ahead of the schedule to ensure full compliance, and the deadline was January 21st, 2026. Now, what does this actually mean? Now, if you look at the SEZ unit, this is largely an export-oriented unit, and this will not process the Russian crude. But the DTF, this is the domestic unit, which caters to the domestic market largely, will continue to process Russian crude. So this does not mean that Reliance Industries is completely stopping the use of Russian crude. They will use it, but only towards a domestic purpose. Now, if you look at RIL's capacity, it has a capacity of processing 1.4 million barrels of crude every day, and this is largely evenly spread between the SEZ and the domestic unit. Now, if you look at, they use around 40% of Russian crude. So this largely was going into the SEZ unit, which could now move to the domestic unit. So the Russian crude still comes in, but only towards the domestic unit and not towards the export-oriented unit. Now, what would be the impact of this on Reliance Industries? Now, even if you look at current juncture, the Russian crude discounts have slipped to just $1 to $1.5 per barrel. So not much of an impact that is coming into the books of Reliance Industries. And if Reliance Industries continues to export their refined products globally, the refining margins are globally at a 2-year high. In fact, the Singapore gross refining margin yesterday was nearly at around $10 per barrel, which is the highest level that we have seen since September 2023. And if they continue these exports, then they will be better off and their financials will gain much more than exporting these products, because the discounts are too less and the price of these refined products in the global market are much more. So they will gain out of this much more than what they will lose out by not getting Russian crude into the export-oriented unit.
Yeah, interesting. Just a very quick point. I'm wondering whether this is the middle ground, because India has very clearly stated that its domestic needs are more important than anything else. But at the same time, I think the angst in the US and Europe was that products were getting refined with Russian oil and being sold in the export market. So some parts of those sanctions were getting
No,
defeated.
but you know something, this is the best position ever, where you can make a compromise that doesn't actually hurt you.
Yeah.
Because you look at how crude prices have come off. There is enough supply and oversupply in the world. So it's not really going to pinch us. Even the price differential between Russian, and this is something that the ministry and the government has been saying very clearly, the price differential between Russian crude and crude available elsewhere has squeezed down to I think $1, $1.50 a barrel. So it's not making that much of a difference. This one we can do.
Yeah, and one that Reliance can do per se, right? I mean, so sure the numbers might get a bit impacted here and there, but I guess overall, if this is setting the stage for and both sides coming together to try and see what are the points of contentions, if you will, and trying to resolve at both ends.
Let me put it this way, better this than some kind of concessions on agriculture, which will be more harmful. So this will be an easier one, I suppose, to negotiate.